So as we all know, Jojo Siwa has been in some hot water recently. People have not been happy at her. So basically, if you want to hear the entire story, I did a video on it. It will be linked at the top of the description. Go watch. But basically, on Juneteenth, now keep in mind that Juneteenth is a holiday celebrating the emancipation of those who have been enslaved in the United States. It's a day where we listen and educate ourselves. And what did Jojo Siwa do on this day? She posted a music video. Now already in that, it was kind of weird, like you should have remained silent on this day. But anyway, whatever, she posted this music video. It's called Non-Stop, and the theme of it was about a circus. Now people of the black community were really upset with Jojo because one of her white dancers was portrayed as a monkey. And a lot of people were accusing Jojo of having blackface in her music video. And members of the black community were expressing their sadness at the fact Jojo would do this in one of her music videos. And so I listened, I read tweets, I read comments, and I decided to do a video on it. Now I said in my last video, and I'll say it again, I have nothing against Jojo Siwa. I believe that she's a very smart businesswoman. She's very smart, very creative, and she knows what she's doing. And she is still very young. Jojo Siwa and I are the exact same age. We are both 17. And I know, and Jojo knows, I would hope she would know, that doing something like this, even if you didn't have any bad intentions, it's still in poor taste. So just avoid doing it. You know what I mean? It's not that hard. Now again, specifying that the concept of the music video was a circus, but people still don't think that that's an excuse. People think they could have left the monkey concept out, and in my opinion, I believe they could have as well. There are so many different circus acts that they could have portrayed, and that one not being there, we wouldn't have noticed. It wouldn't have added much, but just the fact that it happened is icky. So apparently the makeup artist apologized and the dancer apologized. And now Jojo had not acknowledged it. She had basically done a bunch of statements saying that, oh my god, my Instagram was unfollowing people all day because her fans were calling her out for her unfollowing them because they were telling her to speak up about her mistake, or supposed mistake. But also at the same time, they were asking her to speak more about the Black Lives Matter movement, and she was also actively blocking anyone who was talking about the Black Lives Matter movement under her comment section, and then limited her comment section. She was blocking regular people, but she was also blocking her own fans, and a lot of people were not happy with Jojo. Now that was a pretty scummy thing for her to do, but she has released an apology and we are going to hear her out. Or well, apparently it's an apology, apparently it's just a statement. She tweeted and said, please read. We're gonna. I need to set the record straight about a few things because some have been irresponsible in recent stories and posts about me. Okay. And everyone seems to rush to conclusions without having all the facts. Okay, give us the facts, girl. My Instagram post yesterday was absolutely nothing to do with the criticism I received on my music video Non-Stop. Now, if you need a little briefing, I won't read it out in full, but Jojo Siwa then posted something on her Instagram, basically like, to all the people saying that I'm blocking them, I'm doing better, I'm thriving, people went onto my dog's account to hate on me too, how iconic is that? And it was a really white privilege post, if I do say so myself, Jojo, and it was really disappointing. So now she's saying that that had nothing to do with the fact she was blocking her fans for speaking out about being disappointed in her. Anyway, let's continue. And she has absolutely nothing underlined. I blocked certain people online and stopped following others because I was tired of seeing the personal hate on me. So Jojo, what is the truth then? Because now you're saying that you were unfollowing and blocking people, but a few days ago you were saying that, oh my god, my Instagram has been glitchy and it's unfollowing people, it's unfollowing everyone. So you're contradicting yourself and you just proved that you lied. So, you know what I mean? What can we believe here? Some people will do anything for attention, and that includes being mean. Now, Jojo, if you're talking about this situation, people weren't being unnecessarily mean to you. They were trying to hold you accountable for something that you were blocking and trying to run away from. People were sending me really horrible messages and disgusting messages about my appearance, my sexuality, my content, and overall just being hateful. Now, that's a problem on the public. Even though she's old enough to know what she was doing, nobody deserves that amount of hate. Nobody deserves hate like that. So, Jojo, I'm sorry that you were exposed to that and to people who were sending her hate about those things, like her appearance, sexuality, content, and overall just being hateful. I'm sorry you had to experience them attacking those things, Jojo, but most of the people were just trying to hold you accountable and weren't talking about those things. So you have to make that separation. More importantly, I would like to address the music video that we shot for Non-Stop in February. So here I think she's trying to make a point that even though it was posted on Juneteenth, it was filmed so far in advance. Well, if it was filmed so far in advance, Jojo, then you had so many days to pick from. Why Juneteenth? Why did your team pick Juneteenth? I'm not putting all the blame on Jojo. Why did her team, her creative team, her promotional team do this on Juneteenth? You know what I mean? We're talking about kids dressing up as circus animals. Exclamation mark. No one in my video is wearing blackface. It's awful that anyone's mind would go there. Kids dressing in animal costumes, having their faces painted to look like animals, acting the part. There were zebras, tigers, dogs, clowns, mermaids, everything. I agree, I don't see any issue with kids dressing up as animals. In terms of like animal onesies and little ears and tails and stuff like that. But Jojo, you really do have to be careful whenever it comes to stuff that can be deemed offensive or is offensive. Listen to the black community that are hurting because of this. Try to understand why they are feeling that pain. I'm not part of the black community, I am not black, but I am listening to their pain. They are tweeting me, they are DMing me, telling them how much this hurt them. How much their little cousin, who is also black, was upset by this. You know what I mean? You have to not jump to defending yourself, you have to listen to people. I've addressed Black Lives Matter issues previously on my social media. I will say it again for the ones in the back, okay? Black Lives Matter today, tomorrow, yesterday, and forever. Preach. On the right side of history here, stop trying to make this about something it isn't. Ooh, okay. I love my real fans and I'm so grateful for their love and support. Are you assuming that people who were getting you to try talk about this aren't your real fans, Jojo? Because they're still your fans. They're your fans that are hurting. Instead of trying to drag everyone down, let's be positive and come back like a boomerang. Oof. Now I want to read you out some of the responses to this apology. I don't even know if it was an apology. It wasn't. She didn't say I'm sorry, right? Jojo, you are white. I am white. We have to listen to the black community. This is an issue that is affecting them. We need to listen, feel their pain, and do better. Someone said, we asked for an apology. This is not an apology. This is defending yourself when the people of color community told you what you did wasn't okay. Come on now. And then someone responded and said she didn't do anything wrong, the music video was filmed before Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter didn't just happen to that person who said this. Black Lives Matter has been a thing for the longest time. So even if she filmed it before Black Lives Matter, you have to be aware of these issues. And then the person responded, said, that doesn't make it okay. Someone responded and said, she said the truth, cancel culture is toxic, find some peace in your life, girl. Holding people accountable and cancel culture are two very different things. Make that known. Jojo doesn't need to apologize. People need to stop jumping at every opportunity to be offended by something that isn't there. She doesn't need to apologize. She literally said people were impersonating animals. I really didn't see the blackface in the video that people are talking about, but I hope she issues a real apology. Then someone responds and says, it was the monkey. Then the same person responded and said, I searched for it. Yeah, that's really bad. Hope she gives a real apology, because honestly, I think people would have forgiven her, because clearly that wasn't her intention. Then someone responded and said, racism is not always the intention, but the outcome. Plus blocking 3,000 plus, not for hate comments, but just for commenting Black Lives Matter, because the only time she addressed it was a black square with her logo on it in the borderline. She also promoted her song on June 19th. Ugh, Jojo. Yeah. I don't need to learn a lesson on racism. I said she should apologize. I'm not excusing her actions, nor am I a Jojo stan. I believe had she responded in a different way and apologized from the start, most likely she would have been forgiven by the fans. And yeah, I want to say that a lot of the fans of Jojo are still upset. Grow up, Jesus, get a sense of humor. She's one, leave her alone. And then someone responded and said she's 17 and she should know better. And she was called out politely before, and she comes back with a trashy notes app apology and never said anything productive, while we never said anything rude. And then someone said, this doesn't look like an apology, love, and Jojo responded and said, I didn't do anything that needs an apology. This is me clearing things up. So she's still not apologizing. Jojo, you have hurt a lot of people. You've hurt a lot of your fans, and you need to realize that whether your intentions were good and not bad, you still need to understand that you hurt the black community and people in it, and you need to listen to them and just apologize. Someone said, you're almost an adult, so maybe act like one. The fact that Jojo is actively ignoring how she offended people and refusing to apologize is an issue. Ignorance is bliss, honey. Someone get this child offline. Oh, boo-boo, cry me a river. Your ponytail can't be that right. Black little girls all over the world look up to you and then had to be told by their parents that you made fun of their skin tone. Again, personally, I don't believe that this was Jojo's intentions. but it is kinda sus. It could have been avoided. The creative team are to blame as well. The people who approved the video concept and just everything, it could have been avoided. This did not need to happen. I'm not saying her intentions were bad, I'm not saying her team's intentions were bad, but it did hurt a lot of people, and you have to realize that. This is not a proper way to react when you're accused of doing blackface. I agree. Queen shit right here. This is the Queen Jojo. Or, I'm sorry for depicting something in my music video that I've realized offended many of those that watched. That was not my intention of any of it, and I'm working on educating myself so I can do better on my part of being an influence on my audience in the future. A Twitter user said that. Can we talk about how a Twitter user came up with a better apology than Jojo? Jojo has a huge team around her, yet a Twitter user gave a better apology. I think that would have been perfect for Jojo to say, because she's acknowledging it, she's saying she'll do better, and she's saying she'll actively partake to do better. People are just jumping on the bandwagon when there's no justification. You're an inspiration for the youth of today, and I am proud that my granddaughter has a role model such as yourself. You are amazing. I hadn't heard anything of this because I'm not in the Jojo target demographic. I watched the video though, and I'm not sure what people want you to apologize for. This is ridiculous. And someone said, same, it's clearly animal face paint, which goes to show that people are twisting this to their own agenda and damaging the message that is being promoted. The black community are upset by this. If you're white, you have to listen to what they're saying. If you're white, you can't just be like, oh, this isn't racist. You have to listen to the people that this is hurting, because that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I feel like you should have just said, I'm sorry I offended anyone because of this incident. It was not my intention. I agree. How easy would that have been? I would be offended, but I know that you're not mean like that. But I feel like you should just apologize to the people that you offended, and this would be over. Someone said, personally, I can't have a say in whether this was offensive or not towards people of color, because I am not. However, I do recognize your intentions were not to portray blackface. And then someone responded and said, we should remember impact over intent. I do agree, because whether it wasn't a bad intent, the impact is big, is huge. A lot of people will see it. So even if you have a good intent, if people take that badly, you're responsible for that, and you need to quickly shut that down. Have you guys ever thought that maybe Jojo doesn't have complete control over her own videos and production? Someone said, someone commenting Black Lives Matter is not hate. Open your purse. You clearly aren't educated fully on the subject. How do you know what personal messages she's been getting? You can't possibly know. Only she knows. She blocked people who said Black Lives Matter. There's literal proof that she blocked her own fans for saying Black Lives Matter. Someone said, if you really cared about this, you would have talked about it 1 week ago, but you chose to be silent. Yeah, Jojo, this had a huge impact on people. You have to come out straight away and say, hey, this was not my intention, I am sorry. No one was hating on you at all. We were simply asking for an apology. Just because it wasn't meant to seem like blackface doesn't mean it didn't come across as racially insensitive. Please set the record straight. I agree. Jojo, come out properly and do it. Don't get defensive and try protecting yourself and your image. Just be real. You finally addressed it, but please at least apologize. I know you didn't mean any harm by it, but it would be nice if you could apologize to those who were offended, because there were a lot offended. Oh yes, and also stop making yourself seem like the victim all the time. You blocked me for posting Black Lives Matter on my other account. It was not personal hate towards you. Do not get it twisted. And a lot of people are calling her out for that. She blocked a lot of people who were just saying Black Lives Matter and trying to get her to talk about it, not sending her hate. I'm sure she was getting awful messages, and that is appalling. But don't push it all off on that. Many things wrong with this. Let's begin. 1. Yes, your post yesterday had to do with you not speaking about the Black Lives Matter. You were blocking people for saying Black Lives Matter. While I agree that they shouldn't be judging your appearance, sexuality, and just being hateful, I don't agree that you should have blocked them for saying Black Lives Matter. I agree. That's incredibly wrong for you to do. Period. 2. The circus has very strange and questionable beginnings. I agree. I hate circuses. They are scum. The term freak show was often depicted as people who have disabilities or were of a race that wasn't white to showcase them. Please reconsider. Also, you, a white person, should not be the judge about what is blackface and what is not. Check your privilege. I agree. 3. Black Lives Matter, like I said before, you blocked people for commenting that under your post. You can't just say that you're on the right side of history. You can't be the judge of what. That is when you're not being oppressed. And no, stop making this all about you. You stop tearing people down, including more races and genders in your product promotions. Donate to more charity. Volunteer more. You need to give back. This is not all about you. People were commenting, so unblock us then. Only because you got called out. You don't deserve hate. Respect, Queen. It's very balanced. But why were you unfollowing fan pages of you? I'm not trying to be mean, I'm genuinely upset. So many of your fans, young fans, were broken that you unfollowed them for them trying to get you to say the right thing. We weren't hating, we were trying to get you to use your voice. Girl, but you obviously don't apologize for even doing it. And finally, I'm gonna read this one out. Glad you addressed it, but having a child dress up as a monkey in a circus isn't the problem. It was the using brown face paint that did come across as racially insensitive due to the history behind it. Just because it wasn't the intention doesn't mean that people weren't offended. Calling them haters or turning it into something it wasn't for pointing it out is gaslighting, and I 100% agree. People being upset are not haters. They're trying to get you to do the right thing so that they can continue supporting you. And Jojo, I hope you listen to them. I hope you do better. I was really warming up to you, Jojo. This is not a hate video. I read out positive and negative comments because the comment section is very balanced. But people are very upset with you, Jojo. Just issue an apology, even if it wasn't your intention. Don't just try to run to defend yourself. Listen to people. Listen to the black community and what they're trying to tell you. Listen to your fans. Anyway guys, tell me what you think about all this. Do you think Jojo should issue an actual apology? Let me know below. I love you, see you in my next video, and bye.